Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Nice to see you at Deschiderea De Astăzi. We are speaking in English today because the guest of this edition is Peter de Boer, member of the board of directors and IR manager of Agrar Group, the largest integrated livestock farm in Romania with cow's milk production and vegetable production. Mr. de Boer, good morning. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Good morning. Thank you for being on your show today.
First, I would like to mention some of the figures that you announced for the first 9 months of this year. You achieved a turnover of 103 million leis, more than triple compared to the same period in 2021. Mainly due to the acquisition of the two agro-technical farms, Lacto Agrar and Agrar Appold, and a net profit of over 10 million leis, increasing by 250%. How were the first nine months for Agrar Group? How would you describe this period?
The first 9 months, as you can see in the figures, were really good. Of course, at the beginning of the year, everything was really uncertain. On the 2nd of February, we got listed on the Euro market of the Romanian stock exchange. And then a few weeks later, Putin started his terrible war in Ukraine. So, of course, at that time, everything was really unpredictable on how it would evolve. But as we could see quite a rise in the milk price, and also we could sell part of our crops for a good amount. And through the acquisition of the Appold farm and the Lacto Agrar farm that we did, we have historical results for our company. And that's also what we expect for the end of the year.
I would like to ask you about some of the aspects that you already mentioned, but I would like to ask you first, how much of that growth was organic growth and how much came from the acquisition of the two farms?
The part of the profit, let's say, to keep it a bit simple, the part of the profit through the acquisitions, those two companies have a part of the profit of 48%.
Okay, and I saw that the third trimester was very good with big increases in revenue and profit. What was special about this quarter compared to the others?
Especially the first quarter of the year, there's not so much, especially on the vegetable part, there's not so much going on. Because the machinery is standing still, nothing is going on in the fields, only at the end of March, let's say, and from April you start your first campaigns with seeding, preparing the land, all these kind of things. In the second part, you start to still to do input, etc. And in the third quarter, you start to harvest. So you will have the first incomes on that. We sell at that time products. And also throughout the year, the milk price evolved quite significantly from if we compared what it was to the beginning of the year. So that were the main that are the main components, let's say, for the growth. Next to, of course, the acquisitions. But for the organic growth, that are the main components. Also, through optimizations, we had for the first 9 months 8% more milk delivered to the factories. So that is purely through organic growth.
Okay, you made an extension of the Appold farm. What does this mean? When will this expansion be fully populated with cow? And how many cattle will be there in total?
At least we will increase the capacity with 1,000 extra cows. We expect a bit more, maybe 1,200, 1,500. But let's say first we focus on 1,000 cows. We bought already 400 of them, and they are also already delivered. But of course, it's something different. It takes a bit more time when you see that in the liters of milk, because a part is young stock, part are pregnant cows. So first they need to calve before they will deliver milk. But as we now analyze it, for sure it will be full. The capacity of the stables will be full next year, March, as we expect now, maybe even a bit sooner. But for the milk, we will see it throughout next year. So part will come in the first quarter of next year, and later on the rest will follow.
So next year in March, what will be the increase in milk volume due to this expansion?
The milk increase should normally grow at least with 50%, because it is a 15% increase of cattle, let's say.
And what are the plans for the fourth dairy farm that you announced that you want to build in the town of Straja in the coming years? How do you intend to finance these plans?
We are looking to several solutions. That can be bank financing. It could be a capital increase on the market again, or to invest, but in a slower space, to budget it from our profits, let's say, and to finance by ourselves. But then we need to grow in a slower space. Anyway, it gives an opportunity because it's a farm for over 3,000 dairy cows, 3,500 dairy cows, but we can do it in two steps. We can do it, the first 50% we could start, and we could later upgrade it to the full capacity with another 50%, because there will also be two milking piders. So there are kind of two farms on one plot, let's say. But for now, yeah, we are analyzing the market, but also it's unpredictable. We would like to make some moves already this year, but as we all know, the liquidity on the market is not sufficient to do a certain capital increase this year. And also for the beginning of next year, we don't see that really feasible, as we don't expect that the war will stop. But later next year, we will analyze what will be the best option to go for.
Do you have a timeline for this investment?
Yes, now we have the authorization already, and we also start to do preparation work, so flattening the land, digging the ground, all those kind of things for lagoons, etc. So we try to do everything what we can do already to do that now, but we would like to start next year. But it depends on the market conditions. If we can either find through bank financing, we grow a lot, so maybe it gives us more possibilities now to go again to the bank to help finance it, to set a part of the profit, to budget a part of the profit for this, or to do a capital increase.
So you're looking forward for a capital increase also?
Yes, of course, we need to analyze that, and we need to discuss that through a shareholders meeting. We will always do what is the best for the company and for our shareholders. So we will only make such a step when we all agree on this, let's say. Maybe a more feasible step would be in 2024, when we want to upgrade to the main market, if the conditions for this don't change next year. But for the upcoming period, let me be very clear, I don't think really a capital increase is feasible due to the market conditions.
Yes, you mentioned the price of milk. How did the price of milk evolve this year, and what do you think will happen to the price in the next period, to say so?
Yeah, no, there are two different things. As we could all see in the news, a lot of Romanian farmers had issues with the milk price in Romania. We follow the Western European price with some extras we get for the quality, let's say, that we deliver. So we are not affected directly by the Romanian price. So we saw quite a significant part of the growth in our milk price. We also see that currently it's still the milk price is growing, and it's also our prediction for the first quarter of next year, or at least to stabilize or even a little growth. Later this year, it's hard to predict. Of course, there are some figures, but really it depends on what the market is doing. We see a lot of farmers quitting in Romania. Romania is importing over 50% of their milk already to the factories. So there's a huge growth potential and a huge milk deficit in Romania. As well as we see the trends going on in Western Europe. where also more and more farms in a main exporter like the Netherlands, my home country, where the government will buy out a lot of milk farmers due to the climate condition and the nutrient issues that they have over there. In Germany, we see a smaller scale but the same trend. So, and we see worldwide the milk consumption is growing. So in time, maybe in the short time and next year it will somehow stabilize, but in time we see a further growth because of the shortage.
Okay. How was the agricultural season that just ended for Agrar? Have you already started sowing when the rest of the works for the new season?
Yeah, we're starting now with that. So far for the next season, it looks quite good. So far with the climate, with seeding and preparing the land. So that goes quite well. For this year, it was a difficult year. Although we are in the Transylvania region, which is, if you check the graphs for rain, etc., and climate, the best region for agricultural fields in Romania. We were also affected like the rest of the country. And some crops we had higher, like sunflower, these kind of things, that we could sell for a good price. But on the corn part, etc., we were also affected by the drought. We think in the end it will balance, let's say, a bit. For some crops we could sell for more money. But on the other hand, there are some issues with the crops, and it's mainly for the main issues are with the food, let's say, for our cows, because we perform circular agriculture, which means that we mainly provide our own food for our cows, and with the manure they produce, we fertilize our soil. So we work as a circular economy to lower our footprint, let's say, and to be as efficient as possible.
And what are the expectations regarding agriculture for the coming period?
So far, if we look at the landscape, it's quite promising, but also in agriculture, it is really hard to predict, because, let's say, 99% mainly depends on the weather. There are some certain things you can do to be on time with everything, and that it goes smoothly, and to have your equipment ready when the sun is shining, so you can harvest on time or you can seed on time. But for that, also we see, at least in our business case, and I think also if you compare the results, that so far the milk industry is way more predictable, especially for Romania, because it's an importing country. And also we see main growth potential there, and not necessarily in the vegetable production. We will always do it because we like to control our own food chain. But to increase a lot with hectares, let's say, just for the sake of to have more hectares or to sell more crops, in our opinion, as shows this year, we like to focus more on the milk part.
You bought 2 farms this year. What does the investment plan look like for the next period? What do you want to invest in?
Currently, we are working on a strategic plan for the upcoming 7 years, which we will finalize the first quarter next year. For the next year, let's say, we would like to start to construct a compost fabric. As you can imagine, we have over 10,000 animals, so we have a lot of manure. And we would like to compost it. One way is to reduce costs. We will eliminate a lot of transport costs, because now we are also transporting a lot of water to the fields, and we would like to, it is not profitable, of course. It's better to bring only the manure to the fields. So we would like to compost it and to sell a part of the compost as a new business line. We see that the chemical fertilizer prices are rising, and they expect further growth of chemical fertilizer next year. So we see a potential good business case in our organic manure, let's say, to sell. It could be to wineries, it could be to vegetable producers, either in Romania or outside Romania. We expect to start to construct in March with this. Next, other steps are to increase the full capacity of the Uphold farm. And also on the Poet farm, there is still possible to grow, let's approximately 300 cows. So that are the short-term steps. For the long-term, the Deschiderea project we would really like to start at least constructing next year with the first part for 1,800 cows there. But as I mentioned, that depends also on the financing part. Next to that, we are a big investment for us as well, the implementation of SAP ERP system. We do this, although it's not so common to go for such a system in the agricultural business. We do this to optimize our business processes, also to provide faster information to make better management decisions, as well as in the future to make it easier for us to do acquisitions of other farms and to integrate them directly in our business environment, who are a bit further away. The husbandry industry, it's really difficult, and it's not an easy management. From a management perspective, it's not easy to manage. It's a lot of animals, a lot of employees involved. You need to do a lot of checks and balances all the time to have an optimal result. So it's not always so easy to do that really far away and to maintain full control. But through these kind of systems where you have every minute information, that will help to sustain our growth as well. Implementing IFRS next year. So to make our company ready to go in the beginning of 2024 to the main markets.
Yes. Do you have also discussions for acquisition of new companies?
No, we receive a lot of emails. That is probably the advantage of getting listed on the stock exchange to be more visible. Every week, I think we get an email through this. We would like to integrate existing farms because it would help us grow way faster than we do now. But it's also fair to say that the dairy industry in Romania is not really developed yet. So there are not a lot of farms that would fit in our modern high-tech business environment. A lot of farms still exist from the communist time, or and that are not always the optimal farms that integrate in our business model that is based on really on cost efficiency and really effective management, let's say. But we always look into it, and yeah, that could be next steps for further growth.
About financing, then Agrar, I saw that has a high degree of indebtedness and quite high financial costs. Do you intend to reduce debt and financial costs? Do you have plans in this regard?
Yeah, for the financial cost, we will transform, or we just had the approval to transform our loans from lei into euro. Almost the interest cost will drop half. So I think now it's approx 9%, and it will go to 4% something. So with that, that will reduce a lot of cost of it. Yes, we would like also to reduce the debtness in general, so that could also be part of a capital increase or other types of financing to reduce this. On the other hand, if you compare the agricultural sector and especially the husbandry sector, and you would compare that with other farms on our scale, the indebtedness is it's not so big, but it really depends with who you compare it. In general, the agricultural sector is indebted, let's say, and has bigger debts than other industries.
As you said, you announced that you intend to move to the main market. When do you think this will happen?
Not to be repetitive, but it all depends on the market conditions. But our main goal, at least what I can say as an organization, we're prepared to do this in the beginning of 2024. So by the end of next year, the SAP implementation, if we don't have any delays, because this whole implementation takes almost 2 years, will be finalized. Now we are discussing with an accounting firm to do for us 2021, 2022, and 2023 in IFRS. And from 2024, we will do it ourselves to report on that. So we do everything in our organization to be ready at the beginning of 2024. But it also depends on the market and maybe at a possible capital increase at that time, if it is feasible.
Okay, one last question. What are the aspects you are still paying attention to? What could impact the business negatively, respectively, positively?
Of course, the general things with climate change, as we see with the drought, of course, that is every year a risk. For the milk part, for the moment, we don't see so many risks. Mainly, we see opportunities there to further grow. We have a lot of requests to deliver more milk to the factories. So they would like to see that we produce more. For the factories, that's beneficiary because they only need to send a truck to us. And we deliver a full truck with a constant quality instead of going to, I don't know, 100 small farmers who put a few liters in the truck, let's say. Also, we have requests from outside. So far we didn't export our milk, but that would be also a possibility. So there we see the main chances to grow further on the milk market, as well as we also see as the main player, or the biggest player, Romania, to be responsible for the footprint we leave to our planet. So for that we start to compose. With this we'll reduce a lot of emissions. So that are the two main things we see the most potential. But of course the biggest challenge is the things that are going on in Ukraine. If something happens near the borders, or a dirty bomb or whatsoever, so we have a whole different situation, as well as if we would have a COVID outbreak or something more globally, things like this, that things close and that the consumption goes down. But now we deliver a primary product which is of the highest quality in Romania. So for there we see a lot of potential to grow further there.
Good. Mr. De Boer, thank you for the discussion. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude here Deschiderea De Astăzi. With me was Peter de Boer, CA member and IR manager of Agrar Group. Thank you for being with us. We wish you a profitable day.
Știu ce spun.
Rusia, stat care sponsorizează terorismul, ăsta este verdictul Parlamentului European. Mie îmi vine să râd.
Unde e autoritatea Uniunii Europene? Știu ce te interesează.
Dacă te numeri printre cei 3 milioane de clienți Enel, nu trebuie să te îngrijoreze plecarea companiei din România.
Pentru mari investitori, noi nu mai avem credibilitate. O pată neagră pe imaginea României.
Știu cum să te fac curios.
Cât de departe a ajuns puterea roboților, au voie să ucidă oameni. Uite, și dansează.
Poți alerga mai mult de atât. Sper eu.
Știu cum să te emoționezi.
Bloomberg spune că a găsit aproape 2000 de agresori sexuali pe Twitch.
Mediul online e de multe ori periculos.
Știu să conving.
Comisia Europeană a publicat ultimul raport din mecanismul de cooperare și verificare. Corupție care va păta și generațiile viitoare.
Eu spun să ne aplicăm și către cauzele sociale, să zicem, oamenii sunt înclinați să încalce legea, da?
Știu să câștig.
Un meci ca de campionatul mondial.
Știu, deci știi.